Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Turin here, and welcome to another entry in our randomly generated army cast. So for those of you that have just joined the channel, this is actually a new series on my channel where I go into a ranked battle and I essentially just pick a completely random army using the auto-generate feature. So it's really fun. Hopefully you guys enjoy this new series, and again, guys, let me know your feedback in the comments below. So as far as my randomly generated army composition goes, and it's so strange because in most of my builds I'm always like, I pick this because of this and I pick this because of this, but it's just completely random, so I'm just going to show you guys what I got. So in the front line, I got some Ungor Spear Herds who are pretty terrible against the Dwarves. At least these ones have shields, so I can't complain about that. These ones are pretty naked, but guys, they do have quite a few chevrons in these ones. So they're up to 68 leadership, let's see, 29 melee attack and 27 melee defense, so definitely a party over there. Aside from that, I do have some Ungor Spears over here, and I also got some Gore Herds here, so I was pretty happy about that because as far as like randomly generated units go, Gore Herds aren't terrible, though they're not very effective against armor. They did get a buff to their weapon strength, putting them up to 36. But if you look at their armor piercing damage, and let's go, why isn't it showing me? So let's go over these guys and take a look and see if we can show. Oh, that's actually melee defense. So, these are just Gore Herds. They're not like the traditional dual wielding ones, but still, they only have 6 AP, which is so low. Aside from that, I did get a Cygor, so I was so hyped about this. This Cygor is just going straight up thug life, just throwing those things deep into the Dawi over there, and they're actually pretty good. Like, I used to, back when the Beastmen first came out, really enjoy using the Cygors. They have very heavy armor-piercing missiles with 379 weapon strength, and on top of that, they hit like trucks and melee. So again, they're pretty good for skirmishing in the beginning, and then, once the fighting starts, you simply just march them up and have them go in fisticuffs. And guys, they do cause terror as well, which is quite nice. What is this? Soul Eater. Oh, okay, that's interesting. So Cygors crave the souls of enemy wizards more than anything. I've never seen that. That's so cool. I actually didn't even know that ability existed. So again, guys, a testament to the fact that, this random generated army business is pretty good for work over here. But it does cause terror, which is really nice. Aside from that, I did get a Brave Shaman with the Lore of Shadows, so I just put him on a Pimp My Ride Chariot over there. Well, he came on that, I suppose. And I do have some Harpies right here. I think, how many Harpies do I have? Yeah, just one group, and they actually have 3 chevrons, so that's pretty strong as well. I do have some Chaos Spawn in the back line over here who are ready to go, and man, these things are just straight up disgusting. They just got like hooves coming out of their backs. And guys, this is what I was most excited for. I got Malagor the Dark Omen, so man, he hadn't made an appearance in a long time. And you can see he does indeed have his full suit of spells, so he has the Cygor summon, he has the Mantle of Grok. I just brought them all, because again, I didn't really want to cheat in that respect. Something I did do though, guys, is due to this was during stream, so you guys gave me permission for this. The Brave Shaman did have his full like lore of spells, so I actually got rid of all those and just like distributed them as chevrons across my units, but still, other than that, completely random. So Malagor the Dark Omen here does have all of his abilities. And what are some of these? I haven't used them in so long. So negative leadership to units in 55-meter range, and let's see, unholy power, so just recharge rate, so pretty cool. I also did get Smoke and Mirrors from that shadow, which is 6% movement speed. On top of that, I did get 2 Minotaurs, just traditional, not shielded or anything, but they still have 100 weapon strength and pretty heavy AP, so very good stuff. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. I did get some Razor Gore Herds up there in the hills that are Vanguard deployed, and I did get some Centaurs with Great Open, so some really nice gifts there for sure from the Chaos Gods, because like, I actually got good AP. I have Razor Gore Herds, I have Minotaurs, I have a Cygor. My front line's pretty pathetic, but still like not bad, and of course some Chaos Spawn over here are always fun. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for my opponent. He did get some Gyrocopters with Brimstone guns. He does have the Skyhammer, but aside from that, pretty interesting army. So he has some Miners, Warriors of Dragonfire Pass, the Ekron's Miners. Yeah, so it looks like he has a bunch of blasting charges in the front line, or at least just these guys in standard Miners. Aside from that, he does have a Thane. He has Ungrim Iron Fist with his anti-large bonus. Definitely going to be pretty good against the beasts. It looks like, yeah, so this is kind of an old school army, having 2 Thanes. You don't see that as much anymore because, again, they can't carry potions of healing. And he does have 2 groups of Slayers, which are going to be very scary. So he has the Dragonback Slayers with their huge anti-large bonus of 24, and then another group of regular Slayers over here who are getting bombarded by these Cygors a little bit, it looks like. The Grumbling Guard, of course, a staple to any Dwarf ladder build. So aside from that, let's get down to business, guys, and hopefully you enjoy this one. So guys, something I really learned this battle is, man, Harpies are so good at shutting down Gyrocopters. Like right now, he didn't have any other range, and I recognize that, and you can see the Cygors are just bombarding these guys, so very good stuff right away. And of course, Malagor should be summoning a second one here in just a moment with his Savage Dominion. So you can see the Harpies over here just going to swarm on top of the Skyhammer right here, and though they don't have like heavy AP, they still have 44 weapon strength. They're going to be able to do pretty good, and you can see the Razor Gore Herds getting in here, just goring these guys, getting 3 or 4 kills right out of the gates, and they do pull back immediately. Unfortunately, I did lose one of my pigs. You can see he's running over some of the Dwarves on the way in, which was pretty funny. But man, that Skyhammer is just getting absolutely destroyed. mid, and he doesn't have any troops on the ground to really support it. He could use like a Ruin of Wrath and Ruin, but still, not going to be able to do a whole lot of work there. So then you see the Cygors coming in right now, and you can see this Pimp My Ride Chariot just running up over some of these dwarves. He's got his whip out, and these guys are actually like not terrible against the dwarves. The Razorgore herds, like they have good AP and kind of work like organic chariots, I suppose you could say. But they take them down to 62 models and are just going to kind of skirt out of there, definitely having accomplished their job. But you can see a huge loss for my opponent. Because again, a lot of Beastmen players don't bring Harpies against the Dwarves from my experience, so maybe he wasn't expecting that. But man, they just shut down that Skyhammer like horribly, and then they're just going to move on to this other Gyrocopter and it should be fine. So I do get my second Cygor right here, so you can see it's just like a firing squad in here. You can see the Ekron's miners are in pretty terrible shape. These boulders coming in here just point blank, just slamming into these Warriors of Dragonfire Pass, who are now down to 62 models. And guys, these Minotaurs are going to have a field day in this front line, though I just really have to make sure they don't get surrounded by the Slayers over here. So you can see the Razorgore herds again coming in for round 3. The pigs are ready to bring the bacon, and they're definitely having a field day chasing these Grumbling Guards. So probably what my opponent should have done is have like the Grumbling Guard in the center of his army so that they weren't getting like isolated like this, because they don't have the charge defense, and these pigs are definitely out for the bacon. So they get in there, and you can also see my Bray Shaman getting in there and just boulders coming down. This is just a wild battle. So in the front line, you can see these Minotaurs are going to charge through their ranks and just absolutely tear this front line to pieces. So that's what's really cool about Minotaurs. Like, if you saturate them with low-tier infantry, they can actually like charge straight through your own ranks and then just be supplemented, because they're not taking all this damage. And just look at these guys just getting knocked back. Just a horrible, brutal beatdown. And Minotaurs are pretty like savage for sure. And he doesn't have any like missiles to really deal with them, although he does have Slayers. So that's something that he does have going for him. So in the back, you can see these Harpies are able to deal with the Gyrocopter. Some of these miners are a little bit out of position, but the Slayers are going to come in and they're going to jump in here. But this is what I was telling you guys about. You can see like I have like regular fodder units kind of saturated in here, and they're doing a really good job. And you can also see a Devolve going off from Malagor back there, so pretty good stuff. So once you get in melee, if you are using Cygors, like once the fighting becomes pitched like this, it's always prudent to bring in the Cygors in melee. So you just want to push them up and have them start stomping the yard, and they do very, very heavy damage. They're going to be able to crush like pretty much all these units. You can also see the Chaos Spawn are kind of mixed up in here, and they're doing a pretty good job for themselves. Granted, they're pretty inefficient against the Dwarves, and you can see the Slayer King is not going to have any of their shit. He's just going to cut them down like it's nobody's business. Because again, he does have that anti-large bonus, and should be able to deal with them pretty efficiently. You can see a single chop there, and he actually kills a full model. So very, very good stuff. So the Cygor over here continuing to just generate massive value with these Minotaurs, who, most of the Slayer's damage and the damage from the Dwarf infantry is being completely shut down by the Gores and those low-tier units who are just taking most of the beating. And he invested so much in that Skyhammer that, the rest of his army is going to take a serious toll. And if that 2,000 resource Skyhammer isn't able to generate its value, it's just essentially going to get run over. So the randomly generated army, guys, is coming through. You can see the Cygors are actually doing really well with the Minotaurs. It's just like this really aggressive beatdown squad with fodder units. You can see even the Dragonback Slayers are just being like cut to pieces by like Gore herds and Minotaurs, and then the Cygors literally just stomping on these guys. And the Slayers weren't able to get a good surround because the Cygors and the Minotaurs were literally just standing right on top of these Ungor spear herds. So the Slayers had to work through that fodder, and they weren't able to really generate the value they wanted to. So right now, I'm using Traderkin right here, which actually, what does it do? 24 speed, and it also does a little bit of damage. Granted, the Dwarves do have, the good magic resist, but still, it's at this point, you just got to use what you got when you do these random armies. You don't really have a choice. So over here, you can see the Minotaurs and the other guys are doing a pretty good job, and it looks like he did bring a Potion of Strength. So again, not the most competitive army from the Dwarf. It was a bit of an experimental army, I would say, but still, guys, that randomly generated army was very, very generous, guys. We got 2 Minotaurs, we got a Cygor, we got a Razorgore herd, and we got the Centaurs of the Grey Open. So I didn't really get to show you guys, but in the back line, they were just rear charging his front line like horribly. I don't like the pick of the miners too much here. Granted, miners will do okay against like Bestigors and things like that. So I know when I play like competitive builds against Dwarves, I usually bring like a mixture of Bestigors like in the front line and maybe some fodder units. So maybe he was expecting that is why he brought such kind of a AP front line. But also the 2 Thanes is a bit of an odd pick. I don't really like Thanes that much in general anymore. But still, I mean, cool army. He invested a lot in the Skyhammer as well as this Gyrocopter, which would have been really good. Like if I hadn't had a Harpy, like if I got no Harpy this game, I would have been in really, really rough shape because I wouldn't have had any answer to these guys. They would have just been like nuking my Minotaurs, nuking my Cygors. So again, the Chaos Gods definitely favoring me with that Harpy pick. So good stuff, guys. Good stuff. So again, well played to my opponent, Ketogenic Cream Pie. Oh my goodness. Well played, man. Look forward to seeing you again on Ladder. And I hope you guys enjoyed the second entry in our random generated army cast. Have an excellent night, guys, and take care.